Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Football Plug podcast. I, of course, am Jay, the Fantasy Football Plug, here with my boy Rumboy, Robbie.
So what's up, good? What's good, Jay? Appreciate you for having me, man. Thank you.
My pleasure. And from the GMM Network, my boy, Bogard Scott. What's up, baby?
Hey, man, what y'all fellas, man? Just happy to be here. Happy to be alive. You know what I'm saying? What up?
Pleasure is mine to have you, gentlemen. So we're going to basically hop right into this, guys. Most of the time we talk fantasy football and all that fun kind of stuff, but with everything going on in the world, I always feel like it needs to be talked about. It needs to be brought to, quote unquote, the forefront. And, I've tried recording episodes talking about it. I don't know if y'all have heard, but I can't get through it without getting a little bit emotional. So I'm going to defer to you, gentlemen, and I want you to, if you feel comfortable, whatever you feel comfortable talking about, sharing anything with everything going on in the Black community, how despicable and all this evil from police brutality and everything that's going on. If you wouldn't mind, please, I'd love to hear your feelings about everything.
Absolutely. So first, just for starters, me, myself, growing up, I dealt with it growing up in the state of Virginia. I remember being, 17 years old, from the ages of 17 to about 21, constantly being harassed by cops. I even remember when I came home from the United States Air Force, at the age of 22, being tossed on the hood of my ex-fiance's car, being patted down. And finally, when they open up my wallet and they find that I was military police, that they were like, "Oh, we're sorry, we didn't know." It's like, "What do you mean you didn't know?" I sat here and I said, "Hey, I'm military. I'm not doing anything." Me and her, we were just sitting in the car having a conversation. And then they were like, "What are you guys doing? You look suspicious. Get out the car." Start searching me. Typical. So all the way down into my younger years to now, working as a community activist here in the city of Colorado Springs. Actually passed legislation. We passed the Police Accountability Act, which actually works for police oversight, and even a couple more events that we have coming up. Creating the People 719, my nonprofit organization. Our nonprofit organization that me and a couple others run out here in Colorado Springs. It's important that we speak out, even as analysts, as fantasy analysts. I know that you mentioned, all of us here are fantasy football analysts. You can check any of us out on our podcast, but as a fantasy analyst, you do have to take time to speak out about these issues, because how can you sit here, pick up your phone every single Sunday morning, Thursday night, Monday night, knowing that 70% of the NFL is Black and they're affected by these issues. These are things that even can affect your fantasy lineup, but you don't want to talk about them. You don't want to speak out about them. You don't want to see the problems with it. If we don't start the conversation now, then it's never going to start, and we're just going to keep raising a future of children that they're just going to be fed hate, and they're just going to digest that hate.
Yeah, strong words. So when you said you were in the military, man, thank you so much for that. By the way, I had a lot of family in the Air Force as well. I came real close to going to the Air Force. If I didn't make it through the police academy, I was an officer for a little bit over a year. I don't know if y'all have heard that.
Yeah, I remember.
And it's easy for anybody to make up a story or say that, I was a cop and then I decided to walk away because I saw some things, but there were some things that my FTO, my field training officer, she tried to get me to do, it wasn't right, and I disobeyed a direct order, and then I was let go. So I've actually seen it, and it's in a small town in Texas. Back when we were in Texas, Giddings, Texas. It's directly between Austin and Houston. A lot of drug trafficking stuff, and man, the way that she would see a vehicle, and you'd see a Black male in the driver's seat, and she would say immediately, "Follow them. Look for any reason to pull that car over." And I'd ask why. And I always had my recorder on every time. And I got her on video a lot, and I made sure to turn that in. And she's no longer there either. But still.
But you're no longer there either.
Yeah.
And that's called the so for those that don't know, that's called the blue curtain, also known as nowadays you may hear it on the news as the blue line, where officers pretty much they protect each other. It's the blue curtain acts as a shield, to where, hey, you know, I'm going to handle this particular case this way. You put this in your report so that we both, you know, keep our jobs and we're both safe at the end of the day. I saw things, you know, in Iraq and Afghanistan, so I completely understand where you're coming from, Jay.
It was horrible, man. It was horrible. And just to see that kind of, I didn't understand, man. I was born in Southern Louisiana, and I hate that I can admit this, but I had family members that were just evil, who've learned the errors of their ways before they passed. My great aunt, she was my Aunt June. Great aunt to me, but my sister adopted 4 kids, and then lo and behold ended up having 2 of her own, but 3 of them were from Houston, Texas, and they're fully black male. And you know, I love these kids. I mean, they're amazing. And all this shit that's going on, it just terrifies me. And it chokes me up just thinking about it. And whenever they first were adopted and they got brought home, she was less than quick to love on them the way that she was loving on the white daughter that they adopted. Yeah. But after some time, she finally realized the error of her ways and actually brought the family together and admitted to just how horrible she realized she was, and luckily changed and ended up, you know, being a big part of these kids' lives. But people can change. It's just, I don't know, maybe you got to be put in the right circumstances. I don't know. It's just
people can change. You know, whenever I remember very vividly, you know, being out at marches and stuff, and you look around and we're chanting Black Lives Matter, and some of the angriest faces in the crowd are some of the white faces, you know, because they have, just like you, they have or had family members that, you know, saw race, that they saw a color, so it made them apprehensive to that color. So they're frustrated that they have to, you know, go home and deal with that. A lot of people in interracial relationships or with interracial children, you shouldn't have to tell your children, you know, be safe, you know, or shouldn't have to have conversations with your kids, you know, about, you know, hey, you know, if you get pulled over because, you know,
your hands and
exactly. You know, my current girlfriend now, Nicole, like we met through the unfortunate murder of George Floyd. We met while protesting and making change. A racist hopped a curb and ran her over with his Jeep, you know, and I was the guy that passed the bill. She was the girl that took one for the community here. I was the one that passed the bill. Lo and behold, we come together. Every single day that I step out of this studio, that I step out of the door, she lets me know, come home to me. You know how crazy that is? Not be safe, come home to me. Because she knows. She knows.
I can't even, like, you've got so many people that have no idea what you'll have to go through every day. And it boggles my mind to think about just waking up, right? Waking up, brushing your teeth, getting in the shower, and then as soon as you're about to open that door, you're like, fuck, here we go. And I mean, you don't know what the fuck's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen. But the way that everything has been for so long, and the thing is, it's not everything is happening right fucking now. This has been going on for all the stuff that we see, that thank God somebody's there. I mean, look, I'm a firm believer in and my wife hates this, and she knows who I am, and she gets terrified when they're doing a thing at Georgia State right now where they're all marching. And she's terrified of me going to do this because she knows if I see something like something happened to George Floyd, I'm drop kicking that motherfucker right off him. If I get shot, if I get tased, I don't give a shit because it gives that guy an extra fighting chance to live. If I die saving somebody's life, hand to God on a Bible, no problem.
My girl and I got pulled over like about a month ago, like about 3 weeks ago. Someone else saw us getting pulled over. Another black couple saw us getting pulled over, and they pulled themselves over to make sure that we were okay. We are in a society where if you see someone that is a person of color, if I see Bogard getting pulled over, I now have to pull over and wait as well. I don't give a damn if I'm on my way to work or whatever. I'm stopping to make sure that he makes it home safe to his wife and his kids. Mm-hmm. And that's sad. That's sad. This person literally, once they gave us our ticket and everything was fine, literally as we were pulling off, they with their windows rolled down, throw up a fist in the air, and we had to respond with the fist as well, like because we just knew in unity and in solidarity that what it meant.
Yeah, man. So, like, I'm obviously not an African American, but I am a minority. My folks came from the PI. They came from the Philippines, and my pops came here like 19 years old, like in 1978 to San Francisco, and his neighbor was a black gentleman named Joe. Ended up being my godfather. Joe was like big, 6'5". You know what I mean? Back in the 80s, motherfuckers would rock wife beaters and they'd like grease, with the baby oil and stuff. Mm-hmm. So he was yoked. And like, they would party. And then, they always talked about moving out to San Jose. That's where I was born. And San Jose was like a young, thriving city, like where legit the white people were the minority. You know what I mean? Like, so it was every race you could think of, Vietnamese, Chinese, Filipino, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Indians, obviously African Americans, and then then you had like a little bit of white sprinkled in, and for the most part, they were mostly in one side. You know what I mean? Whether it was like the South Side or the West Side, that's where most of the white people are at. But like I was born in the East Side, and like Robbie said, I didn't really start seeing the harassment till we got into our teenage years, because now we're on the block. You know what I mean? And here's one thing about the cops in my city, like, we were always, we have grown to be like 1 million plus in population, and we have a ton of police. Like, I mean, for as crazy as somewhere like Oakland is, or Richmond, you know what I'm saying? Like, or East Palo Alto, all the cops are in San Jose. So, and what's crazy is they're all white, you know what I mean? Majority of them, at least, you know what I mean? And, bro, I just, we would just be on the block and they would come through accusing us of all kind of shit. You know what I mean? I remember I got my wrist sprained one time. And to be honest, we were some knuckleheads into some shit, but we would just be posted in front of the homie's house. We weren't like, my city isn't one of those cities where like a New York where people are posted on
San Jose is nice as fuck.
Yeah, and like what's crazy about San Jose is, you got the Lolos, and then you go up the street towards the hills. That's where all the $1 million houses at. And then over there, they got sheriffs. So they got sheriffs in their own for that little nice area. And then, where we're at in the Lolos, that's where all the police, they come through. And through the neighborhoods are police routes. You know what I mean? So you'll see the same cop all the time. We might be chilling, and he'll pass by twice in an hour. And then that third time he comes through, he jumps out. Everybody don't move. We'll start fucking with all of us. Calls in other guys. You know what I mean? Like routinely would fuck with us. We would mouth off here and there, and then boom, they'll rough you up real nice. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I got my wrist sprained one time because I was just rocking jewels, and he's like, "Oh, Mr. Drug Dealer right here." And every time I'd be like I would tell him, "Look, I'm not resisting, bro." You know what I mean? Like, I'm doing what you say, and he'd be like, "What? What did you say?" Just, you know what I mean? No regard, slamming you onto the hood or the whip. You know what I mean? And that was just something we were used to. You know what I mean? Where it was like, or like, don't be in like a nice whip.
But
you know what I mean?
That's what systematic racism is. It's called systematic for a reason, because it happens over periods of time. Yeah. Think about what you just said there. What you just said was so profound. This was something that we were used to. I'm from Southeast DC, and I also I also used to visit in LA, spend summers with me, abuelita, out there in LA, so like I completely understand, when you're in these inner cities, you're in these more gentrified areas, you're automatically looked at, because everyone in that area looks like you're automatically looked at as a threat, and you may not be the most threatening person in that environment. What I think that a lot of times that we forget as humans, we're mammals, and Black people, I feel, we are looked at as lions, and cops are out there to be the poachers. We are so intimidating that they feel that there has to be this population control type of measure to keep us from overpopulating and overachieving and overgrowing, because we are that intimidating to them, because we are that powerful. The most scariest thing to a racist white person is
an educated person,
an intelligent minority, period.
Yeah.
Period. So how do you stop that? How do you stunt that growth? Kill them while they're young. Police them. Keep them corralled in these neighborhoods. Don't let them out. Don't let them have those opportunities. And now we're in a society to where, thank God, technology, the reason why all of us have a podcast is because, let's face it, it costs us a couple of $100 to buy the studio equipment now all of a sudden, whereas back in the 90s, you would have had to pay hundreds and thousands of dollars for studio time. Technology has allowed life to become so much more simplistic, to where now the other side, utilizing that same mammal reference, the folks that believe that we are endangered, that are understanding that we're endangered, are now coming to our aid, and they're recording this.
Yeah. That technology actually was letting this, because let's be honest, this has been going on from like the beginning of America, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Rodney King.
Nothing new. And like, the fact that, like you said, another couple pulled over when you guys were pulled over, because, you know what I mean? Like, you need someone to be witnessing what's going on or recording it, because they'll write whatever narrative they want. You know what I mean? Like, and like, I did have a question too when you're a police officer, like, you know what I mean? Like, did you see noticeably different treatment, like if it wasn't a Black individual?
100%. Oh yeah. It was
100%.
It was disturbing, man. It was horrible. Like I said, what the hell is this? A gift from Zoom. Go ahead and click out of that. All right.
They're giving us unlimited minutes to keep talking this topic.
That's dope.
All right, Zoom, that's what's up. Shout out Zoom. When I was an officer, it was night and day, man. I remember they used me basically as a battering ram. Like, this is right when I was out of pro wrestling. Like, they wanted to use my size to intimidate. Look, unless I'm protecting me and mine, I'm a fucking teddy bear, man. Like, I've got no reason to harm anybody. No reason. Unless you're coming at me, I don't need to come at you.
And they train you that way. They train you that way. Being military police, we were trained. The reason why I had all these different weapons and all these different guns and all these different utilities, first they would teach you use of force. And then use of force would go completely out the window when they would start to try and justify why you reach for certain tools and why you can jump certain extremes. Why are you teaching me to jump certain measures?
Yeah.
And how to justify those things versus, hey, just follow the fucking rules. If you're taking us to work, then you can reach for your firearm. Like,
yeah, exactly. They don't say, hey, use the next level of force, and you're like, hold up. So if somebody's coming at you with their hands, you're supposed to, use hands if you can, but then they're like, well, you can use your taser. So they kind of make that as an excuse to be like, okay, he was coming at me with a weapon, which were hands, and they just start blowing your fucking head off. whenever you were in the academy, did they basically teach you that every person that you're pulling over, anybody you go to talk to, is ready to kill you? They terrify you.
Yeah, the exact words they tell you are better them than you. Make sure that you come home to your family.
Better to be carried by 6 than judged by 12 or something like that.
Yep.
Right? Or no, better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6.
By 6, yeah, better. Yep.
Hey, so what about when when you're out there in the field, right? And have you been in situations where like there was someone, like maybe coming at you with a weapon? It didn't have to be a minority, just in general, like, you know what I mean? Like, have you ever had to actually like apprehend somebody?
It's really rare. Like they try to teach you that everything is deadly when you're an officer. Like they try. It's because they want you to be in condition. What is it? Condition yellow, to where you're always. Like my wife hates it. Whenever we walk into a place, I can look around the room.
You're surveying first.
Yeah, you're constantly on a swivel. But I mean, I've had. That's what I was saying. Like for me,
it's funny too because we grew up like that because we was looking out for them peoples. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, seriously, that's why y'all make the best police. Seriously.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? Growing up, I was from the underworld. And like being familiar with the underworld, I used to always say, man, I'll probably make the greatest detective. You know what I mean? And also, I had another question. Like, what is the protocol with the body cameras? You know what I mean? Like, because, whenever there's some kind of incident, they never like just go to the body camera. You know what I mean? Like,
they're never on.
Because they're never on the tug.
Damn.
So I want to answer your question with the case of Devon Bailey that happened here in Colorado Springs, Bogard.
Okay.
There are bits and pieces where you can tell that this footage was definitely edited.
Yeah.
Like we once again, we edit our shows. We know how to do all of this shit. We've all played around with, some type of chopping up software. We may have lost an important clip at some point. We know these things. This shit looks like someone definitely tampered with it. At the end of the day, it is about them saving themselves. Prime example of that blue line, blue curtain again. There was a protest here, and during that protest, protesters, about 30 of them, 30 motherfuckers shut down a whole entire highway, shut down I-25.
Yep.
Okay. During that protest, the news had followed us, and they were doing a Facebook live stream feed of the protesters that had shut down the highway. They shut down the highway for about a couple minutes, about 15, 20 minutes, right? Just to kind of say, hey, we've been inconvenienced for 400 fucking years. We're about to inconvenience all of society right now.
Yeah.
A cop during this live stream legitimately comments in all caps from a burner account, kill them all.
Damn.
It was not the police. It was not Colorado Springs Police Department. It was not CSPD. By the way, I was there. I'll go in and I'll fucking admit it. I have court October 1st.
Allegedly.
Well, no, I was there. The niggas know. The news knows. I'm sorry. I just went there. But so it was one of my friends who runs a different nonprofit that had tracked the burner account down, found the IP, and found out who exactly it was, and found out that it was a CSPD officer that commented it. They did not want to look at it. We had to hold our police chief, Chief Niski, accountable here in our own city for this. We had to march, beg, plead for the firing of this officer. He was not fired. His Facebook page is full of Blue Lives Matter, White Lives Matter type of propaganda on his page. It is very prevalent.
Yeah.
What side of history this guy is on. 2-week suspension.
And that's the thing too, man, is because I feel like there should be some kind of, I mean, let me ask you guys, is there any kind of psychiatric evaluation Like, or is it just a one-time thing, and then like you have to have an
Graduate high school?
Well, I mean, like going into the academy. You know what I mean? Like I you know, because it's like there's got to be a common denominator for this type of individual. I mean, obviously, maybe racist, obviously, but still, it's like, I mean, I would imagine some kind of.
This is your local police force. This is not the freaking CIA.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Man.
And what's crazy, Bogey, is when you have most police nowadays, it's somebody wanting a job. Nobody wanting to actually protect and serve and save lives and help people. Just a motherfucker want a job.
Exactly.
That's it. That's all I heard in the academy, man. I can't wait until we get to work. I can't wait to go, okay, cool. We're getting to work. Yeah, we're going to be able to help. And I was one of those individuals who actually wanted to do good. I really wanted to help. I knew that me being, you know, in Giddings Police Department, I'm probably not going to be able to make a huge change, but at least maybe in the city of Giddings.
Yeah.
And try to make one change, like one thing, try to help a guy get to the shelter and go get him some McDonald's before I take him. No. I disobeyed, quote unquote, a direct order because they wanted me to detain him and put him in the back of the car when he was posing no threat at all.
And what's crazy about that, Dylan Roof massacred a South Carolina church, killing and injuring multiple people. I believe it was 9 lives to be exact.
Yeah.
Is this the one where they took him to get like Burger King, right?
He got Burger King.
Yeah.
He got water. I remember when I got caught with just my grinder and a bowl, no weed in it. I had smoked it. Like, it was gone. And I remember getting tossed in the back of a car asking, can I please get the window rolled down just a little bit? This is in Virginia in the middle of summer.
Yeah.
August, it's 100 degrees outside. Can I just get a little bit of air? No, you can sit here and you can suffer.
Yeah, bro. Like, if like I said, we would always be on the block, bro, and like getting harassed and thrown in the back of the car, handcuffed. Then they just tear your car up trying to find anything, you know what I mean? And then, you know what I'm saying? And it could be anything, like they really just pulled over because we on the block. Then they tearing the car up. They might see the license plate. Oh, the tag is expired. Boom. You know, write them up a ticket because that's all they could find. Just anything, you know what I mean? Then they'll be back circling. And it would just be like, damn, now we're just kicking it outside because, you know what I'm saying, we was kids. And then, you know what I'm saying, like when I got older, and, you know, like like I said, a lot of my associates, they're from the underworld. So, you know what I mean? We started to move different. You know what I mean? Like we started to, like, you know, because no matter what, like, you even just having tattoos or anything, like you know, especially in the past 10 years, having tattoos don't mean you ain't any kind of thug or anything.
Yeah, no, tattoos are now.
Yeah, like, you had a tattoo or anything, or, you know, you weren't, like a lot of me and the homies, you know what I'm saying, like we wouldn't wear certain colors just because of what was going on in the area. So then immediately they think we in a gang. You know what I mean? Just because ain't none of us wearing blue or ain't none of us wearing red or ain't, you know what I mean? Like just immediately.
Why are you wearing a white t-shirt?
Yeah, you know what I mean? And like, and always just, you know, the stereotypes were the funniest stuff. Because like, I'm like, and you know, so just coming up, you know, oh, you know, and you know, we're a mixture, blacks, Mexicans, Filipinos, and you know what I mean? They're throwing me up against the car. Oh yeah, you know, oh Mr. Rice breath over here. Yeah, you, and then like, you know, calling, you know.
Hey, California cops are like that. California cops will say stuff like that.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry,
calling my black homies monkey, calling my Mexican homies beaners and shit. Like cops were just on some racist shit, like for real. Like
they're doing whatever they can to set you off.
Exactly.
You know, kind of shit to make them, to give them a reason to use excessive force.
And you know what?
It's not excessive to them. It's, you know,
in my city, growing up, the one thing I always saw a lot was it takes little to nothing, and they pepper spraying the fuck out of you already.
Yeah.
That was always the one.
Remember that OC spray?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, man.
I'd have rather got shot, bro. Oh.
I
reacted horribly.
I hated the chamber. I hated the chamber. So funny thing, actually, because of that. So
You was out there with the bottle of milk in the backpack.
Yeah,
Bro, I would have taken the cow's tit to the face, but that was it was the worst.
Bro, I'm tear gas immune, so I'm immune now, right? Yeah. So when all the shit popped off at the beginning, right? It's like where I live now, I could look out my window, and when all the stuff was popping off, like you could see like the flashes in the air, them like popping rubber bullets and like tear gas cans. So I decided, all right, y'all want to do this in my city on American soil, and I'm a military veteran. Not fucking happening. Like, this is not happening on my soil. Like, I defended the Constitution for a reason. You're not about to borderline. You're not about to borderline enact martial law on my soil. So I was a person out there, full on tennis racket, gas mask, playing with tear gas right in front of the cops. Just.
Yeah.
They were like, and actually when I was passing legislation, they were like,
I seen some of the footage that you showed me.
Yeah, bro. Like they're like, yo, you were the guy with the crazy backhand. I'm like, fuck yeah, bro. Like I
want to see that old McEnroe.
Bro.
And like, bro, it was like
Arthur Ashe, bro. Black Power. Wakanda.
Oh my god.
Bro.
That was awesome.
But I mean, for real, like we have to reach a point though, like where this stuff has to stop. Just in the same day that we are doing this meeting, I want the people to know that are going to be watching this. Jay scheduled this about a week ago, okay? Today, Thursday, September 3rd, that we are recording this, a man was, and I don't know what police academy teaches this, a man was hooded and placed on the ground and suffocated to death.
Damn,
in Rochester, New York.
That's horrible.
Oh my!
That was horrible. And when he's laying there, you can hear laughter and shit in the background.
Yeah, and they claim that once again, just like with Elijah McClain, just like George Floyd, Elijah McClain, the cops actually injected him with ketamine.
Yeah.
Who the fuck uses horse tranquilizer?
They're holding him down. They're sitting there holding him against the chair, and they've got a belt around his neck, and they're holding him down, and then they inject him with ketamine.
Yep. In George Floyd's case, they claim that
he was like a 90-pound kid, man.
Yeah, he was a tiny kid. In George Floyd's case, they claim he was on fentanyl, and that's why he died. No, you put your knee on his fucking neck and you killed him.
What's incredible?
The autopsy that the family.
Yeah, the private autopsy that they had hired somebody, so they
right.
The joint wasn't doctored. You know what I mean?
Right. When there's a death by police, they have to do, which again, that fucking blue line bullshit, that curtain. They can doctor anything. They can doctor. They had, whenever they did that, that never came out. Never came out that he had fentanyl in his system or anything like that. Nothing. If he had fentanyl in his system, he wouldn't be able to, let alone they're kneeling on him, he wouldn't be able to respond.
Yeah, he's not moving.
He'd probably be like, man, you're on my neck.
He's going to be in a different dimension.
Completely different. He won't even know what the fuck is happening probably. If he even lived to make it to that spot where he was at. Fentanyl can, I mean, it's almost immediate. It can kill you.
Yeah, fentanyl, like, man, fentanyl, it's killing a lot of youth in the Bay Area because a lot of the street drugs are being cut with fentanyl now, and like, and like, bro, it's just so crazy because, you know, these crooked ass police, they like that. They like that there's a.
Where do you think a lot of these people get it?
Yeah, I mean, but I'm saying, no, they like that. There's a percentage chance that the people that they're harassing or even like unjustly murdering, you know, there's a percentage chance that they got, you know, some kind of fentanyl in their system, and they could be like, you know, then they could just fight the narrative.
But with this one, they're trying to say that that they haven't released a substance. They are trying to say that he died of separate causes, which means that in the next day or two, they are going to try and say that he was on a drug or something. There's going to be some type of cocktail that he was suddenly on that, to be honest, black people don't fucking take.
Yeah.
Like there's just certain drugs in the black community that we do. I mean, that's like one of the shit that they don't.
I know, fentanyl's white people shit.
Exactly. Like ketamine's not ours. That's a fucking rave drug. Like, no. Like,
yeah, meth, white people shit.
No. So,
I mean,
you know, look, like also like America, like when you guys are reading these reports, think for your damn self. Like, come on. I am going to tell you from somebody that when I was like working in community activism and still working in community activism, part of why I'm careful about what I say and I do when I'm in my own city and even the restaurants that I eat is because the media, okay, will take whatever narrative they can to make a story.
Yeah.
And I promise you this, I have seen where we'll have KOAA out here, the news station out here, and then we'll have freaking Fox out here, and they're covering the exact same thing, cameras set up next to each other, and then they use completely different wording and say completely different things about what they're reporting on. I have sat down with reporters, been on the news, and on multiple different stations that have done the exact same interview, and they take what I've said and twist it multiple different ways.
Yep. Death by media.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
Like, and all of us as analysts, we also have a job as reporters as well. So if that's happening at that level of reporting, you know, I'm just saying, luckily we protect our journalistic integrity here with our brands, but there are a lot of outlets that they just want you to click on their shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all they want.
I know one of the original panelists that was supposed to be here tonight, but there's a little bit of scheduling confliction, was the homie Komplicated Kai. Shout out to the homie.
Yeah.
He always said something that resonated with me. He always said, you know, if there's something that you believe in and you need to stand against, then you put your content on the line. And, you know, that, and you know, it obviously, this is something that comes natural and second nature for us. Like, even when you reached out, Plug, you know what I mean? Like, it didn't surprise me because I know what type of person you are, you know what I mean? And like, but other people, they just want to play it safe. Like, oh, you know, I am an analyst, but, you know, we're not going to talk about the issues, or, you know what I mean? Like, that's some scary shit to me. That's some pussy shit, for lack of a better term. You know what I'm saying? Because these are motherfuckers that like they're scared of losing followers or whatever. Like, listen, if you actually, because then you're basically, you're on that side of history. You know what I mean? It's to me, and I know for us, you know, on this panel, it's pretty cut and dry. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, pun intended, you know, we see it black and white. Like, if you're not bothered by, you know, a lot of these issues, or even, you know, all of them, or even just any of them, then you know, you with them peoples, man. You know what I mean?
Like I'll never be able to understand that in the industry that we work in, like I said at the beginning of today's show, how can you have the will to want to cover black athletes? You want to make a living off of black athletes, but you don't want to talk about what they go through. You never know who, when a person of color steps out, who they may know and how that may affect them. One of my colleagues, I want to shout out Steven Jackson, who was greatly affected by the murder of George Floyd. I formerly worked with a sponsor called Hot Mike, and he works over there, and he calls play-by-play over there now, and he works as an analyst over at Hot Mike. And seeing how him as a full-time analyst and a full-time NBA analyst and a full-time, you know, NBA personality, you know, following his career, how the loss of his friend, and a second that's how I found out really about the George Floyd thing was, holy shit, he's saying that he's going to take a leave of absence from work, from broadcasting over on the service that we were broadcasting on. I need to step up. I need to do the same thing. You know, you don't know who's going to be affected. Some of the same players that you have looked up to as a kid, or you have watched, or some of the same players that you may currently cover right now, you know, could be friends or could be related to some of these players. Yeah. I don't know. It just really mind boggles me that we're willing to go out there and play a game and bet money on these people's lives, but not talk about how they're affected. Like, are we really that insensitive that we're willing to separate a freaking electronic game on our damn phones?
I mean, I think a lot of people, they feel like it convolutes their interest. You know what I mean? It's kind of like how about this? Like imagine like a vegetarian yelling at a motherfucker like me, I'm eating a burger. You know, there's a cow that was slayed for that burger, this and that. But I'm ignorant to how this burger got to me. You know what I mean? If I did the research and I found out, I might feel away, right? A lot of these motherfuckers that we're talking about, they don't want to know any of that side. They just want, because they want the fun shit, and that's it. Because they don't want to be affected. Or
how many times have you told your kids that life ain't fair, that life ain't always fun?
Yeah.
You know?
But you know, too, is a lot of these people that aren't empathetic, you know, they grew up in their little bubbles. And I'm not trying to defend them or anything. I'm just saying that they want to stay in their bubble. You know what I mean? And like what they don't know, they think it isn't happening. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and when they see it happening on camera, because we see this shit daily now, these things go viral. You know what they say? Oh, that motherfucker probably deserved it. Or they buy into whatever narrative they wrote. He was running to the car to get something. That's why he got shot 7 times in the back. Like they're and then the fact that it's so much, people are desensitized to it. You know what I mean? And that disgusts me.
That's fucking disturbing to me.
Yeah.
Like the fact that it's happening so much and that we're seeing it so often, at this point, it should really start fucking with you. Like at this point, you should be able to wake up and say, nah, there's clearly something going on. And the fact that all of this is happening and all this is being brought to light during, honestly, probably some of the most hate-fueled times.
Yeah.
Like in our country, like this is crazy. Like this is crazy.
Yeah, I will say too, like in America, we tolerated a lot of shit that goes on in our own backyards. You know what I mean? Like we tolerated way too much, and then you get a president. You know what I'm saying? And I know I don't really talk politics specifically about like the shit like that, but it makes me even want to go out and vote because I don't know what the fuck the other guy's about, but I know with this guy in here, he ramped up a lot of this hatred. You know what I mean? He got, the KKK like championing him. You know what I mean?
There were young men and women being hung from freaking trees after George Floyd was murdered in different cities across America.
Yeah.
Like being publicly hung, and nothing came out about who had did it, where, nothing. Like, do you realize, like, this is the society that we live in, and it sucks. And like I said, this is a hatred-fueled time. I mean, when have you known? When have you ever been able to pick up your phone or pick up a news article and see that people are just across the nation being hung from freaking trees, like just lynched? Cops are just murdering Black people like left and right, and like it's literally happening left and right. It's at the point where I'm a believer in the conspiracy theory of, is there orders being given out by some grand wizard, and all these cops go to like behind the scenes to like meet up in some woods in the swamps of Florida, and they're like, if you see one, make sure that you go ahead and you dead it on the spot.
I mean, even
imitation. I'm sorry.
And real talk, like that's another thing I always thought of too. Like, maybe there's a law that could be passed where, you know, local police departments, like it can only be a certain capacity of Caucasian police officers, because I feel like
that's called affirmative action. It's not working.
yeah, but a capacity.
They've been trying to do it for a while, bro.
You get what I'm saying? Like, you
No,
know,
I get it. Yeah, that's why they tried to do it, and it didn't stick.
and but also, there's a stigma. There's a stigma in, you know, in the Black community too, where like, you know, you be a cop, that they'll hate your ass too because of historically what cops have done to the disenfranchised. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know,
Ice Cube says it. Ice Cube says it in a song. Black police showing out for the white cop. Like he says it, like yeah, because now you have to fit in. Because if you don't do, then that blue line will fire you and they'll get rid of you. So yeah, once you get in, if you're a person of color that becomes a cop, you have to play along and get to play that song and dance.
Could you imagine?
What's crazy too? Like back in the days, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about like early 1900s. You would have entire police forces. One where, like in New York, you'd have the Irish policemen, then you'd have the Italian policemen, and then you'd have, you know what I'm saying, the you know, the native policemen, like, you know, like the whites that were born in America, you know what I mean? And it would be like, and they would go to war too. But you know what I'm saying? It was like, real talk, it's the same way they would try to, you know, look at us like gangs or any kind of certain groups. That's exactly what they is, you know what I mean? They a gang that could, that's kind of above the law.
They call themselves the most powerful gang in the world.
You feel me? Like,
yeah.
And like, bro, like, I'm telling you, man, like the police, it was weird too, because growing up where I grew up, like, you know, when you're like, if we were in Oakland, yo, the police, they not really fucking with you like that unless you doing something wild. Because
they're also
they
afraid to get out their cars.
No, because you know why? Motherfuckers will fire on the police. In San Jose, you know what I'm saying? We're, you know, a lot more stuff. Those police, they come out ready to fuck shit up because they're already, you know what I mean? But they know. And seeing what the crazy thing too is in places like Oakland is way less police than, you know, the like San Jose is one of the biggest cities in America. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? And we're a metropolitan area, so you're gonna want to have this look clean, nice, spick and span. So they got cops that'll just fuck shit up for next to nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like out here, the cops are just completely militarized. They got the big ass armored vehicles and everything. Yeah, like I said earlier, I mean, out here in Colorado Springs, I don't know if I brought it up on this podcast. I had another one earlier that I was doing, and I may have mentioned it there. Colorado is 5th most in terms of killings amongst minorities. Yeah.
Damn. Colorado?
I'm really about to blow your socks off here. You ready for this one?
Talk about it.
African Americans in the state of Colorado make up 4%. We are gunned down by the police at a rate of 11% in the state of Colorado. How are you killing more of me than what the fuck I make up in the population?
Damn.
Yeah, man,
You kill me more than what there are of me.
That's crazy.
Man, I'm trying to. Yeah, okay. I'm trying to wrap my brain around that.
Hey,
listen, I'm not a mathematician, but I know that's.
I had to study this stat for a freaking debate with a city council member. That's how I knew, and that was what my saving grace was, because my argument was they did not believe that there should be police reform. This politician's legit belief was,
and it's a dumb.
We have a fine police force. We don't need police reform. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why are we killing at a higher rate than there are of us? And the second I said that, it was, yeah, no, sit down, shut the fuck up.
Damn, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah, man. Could you?
29 years old, I was at 29 years old, I was out here shutting politicians the fuck up.
I was thinking to myself, like, could you imagine being a black officer and being out there with like a George Floyd or, you know, Jacob Blake or something, and knowing what's happening is so fucking wrong, but because you've got, man, thing is the police, they can make, like I said, like they can make stuff just, you disappeared. You can all of a sudden, hey, sorry, Officer Johnson got shot in the line of duty. Sorry, guess we got to go over and tell his family. If you're a black officer and you go against an order, I can't imagine the shit that you would have to deal with. Because I mean, seriously, you are out with your brothers in arms, as they like to be called, you know, as police officers like to be called, as if they're like military here. But you know, they're like, seriously, and they, you know, they're like, we're like military.
Like, have you ever shot a rocket launcher?
You're not under fire almost constantly, bro. But could you imagine like seeing that happen? And I mean, if you try to step in and do something, all of a sudden you're on your way back to the, you know, to the precinct, and something happens. Oh
yeah, I just want to put that. I want to put this out here really quick for all the officers that like to just run around and say that, like, yeah, we're like military. Us actual military that have deployed take that offensive as fuck and think that you are the biggest pansies. We think that you're the biggest pussies. We really think that you wanted to go and deploy, but you were too much of a pansy to do so and put on your big boy draws. So you're just running around being a fucking bully here because you have a little dick. You can't really go out there and get some chicks.
There you go. Hey.
Like, you want to – I love – look, you mind if we take it to sports really quick? And it's going to tie into the same topic. I love that MMA fighter Colby Covington wanted to call out LeBron James, who came from Akron, Ohio, single-family home, like, not privileged at all. Colby Covington wanted to legitimately tweet at LeBron, if you really want to speak out against America's injustices, why don't you do the hardest job in America, and that's becoming a cop? I'm sitting back thinking, like, what the hell did I do? Like, so I was just sat in the desert for not shit. I just fucking got shot at for nothing. Like, what a dick.
Man.
Hey, it might be the hardest job for racist cops, though, for real, because it's hard for them to not want to kill unjustly. You know what I mean? Because that's how I see it.
Oh, it's not too hard for them now.
No, they're getting away with it right now. Hell,
I see what you're saying, Bogard. I see what you mean. But yeah, seriously, like
I'm trying to shit on them while I say that, to be honest.
I know.
Hey, Colby Covington, come ride out in a Humvee with me in 107-degree heat in Afghanistan, and let's really talk about being a hero. Make sure you pack your MRE with you, because you're gonna need the energy, because that food, man, it's nasty. How about you eat MREs for a whole fucking 6 months, and when you got the shit legitimate bricks, like they soften you up, they plug you and they back you up. Like, cops don't have to do that.
No,
like, cops have never had to eat an MRE.
No. I'll tell you, when I was in office.
Oh yeah, that's that shit. So you don't have to shit, right, for a while.
Yeah.
So MREs, it's your meals ready to eat. That's what it stands for. And each MRE is numbered, and they're numbered by day when you're on deployment. You know, so like I may have, you know, ravioli and some shitty fucking pound cake in a pouch one day, but the next day it's like tuna and something. And like what they do is like they have chemicals in each MRE. So like one day, you know, for like 6 days straight, you might be backed up and blocked up. But then on like day 7, that last MRE that you eat is just gonna flush you the fuck out and shit. And pray to God that you're not in the middle of a firefight. Pray to God that you're not in the middle of a firefight. Like, yo, I shit.
Yo, me, I gotta take a shit.
Let's do this, baby.
That Call of Duty shit is real. Like y'all be running around playing Call of Duty. There are certain things that game cannot simulate. Yeah, no. Cops are not military. Cops are not military, and they need to stop thinking that they're fucking military.
Hey, so like, even though you only spent a small time, you know, on that, behind that other blue line, right? Plug, like maybe you said a year, right? So like, when you were in there, was there like any ideas you had, like, man, if only they did this, or if this made a change to this, like, is there any like, or is it really just boiled down to the person that they put the badge on?
It didn't matter. He was gonna fucking lose his job if he spoke about his ideas and beliefs. But
yeah, I made the mistake of going and talking to my captain about some ideas that I had, and he was like, yeah, we'll table that. We'll table that. We'll table that. And then all of a sudden you're working 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. and you're not used to those hours. So you're sitting there and you're trying to stay awake, and you got your FTO over here who's acting like a complete asshole. I mean, it's just, they try to make your life a living hell. And, getting paid $32,000 a year for that. Come on.
I am, I'm actually, he's a colleague of all of ours. He works in the fantasy football industry. I would love to be able to shout out his show right now, but because of the topic, I'm not going to do that. But we have a colleague in the industry who still is an active cop, and he has expressed to me immensely, like just how much he apologizes, and I'm like, dude, what are you apologizing to me for? Like, he's like,
I know what you're talking about now. At first, I was like,
yeah, he's like, well, you're a black male. It's like, I know this affects you. I'm like, I'm not the family that lost a family. Or like, I do appreciate it, and so on and so forth. And he has dealt with a lot of the backlash of now having to work extended shifts because he has sent an email to his department stating, hey, I want us to change our department in our city here in KCMO and be better before it could get worse. And they were like, so you think that we're bad? And it's like, I ain't think that we're bad. I just want to change before we can end up like Minneapolis, end up like Kenosha. But, and
we were doing just fine before you, sir. We were doing just fine before you. We don't need to change anything. So if you you think you're better than the department now, my heart goes out. Whoever he is, my heart goes out to you.
I'll send you some of his contact info. I think honestly, like, you guys' personalities would make for a great collab episode. To be honest, dude.
Love to. Absolutely.
But yeah, man. I mean, it sucks, and like we have colleagues, even in our own industry, who want to make a difference and want to make a change, but because of what they do in their day job outside of being an analyst, it hinders them. So the only way that they're able to do this is by being on air. So I do commend those that do step out and do fight, because it's not easy to have these conversations. Right. But it's even harder to sit back and hold it in and pin those emotions in and not speak out, because then now you're just eating at yourself and allowing the thought process of, I'm part of the problem, I'm being part of the problem, I'm becoming part of the problem. Right. So if you guys, my best advice for anyone out there that does want to speak up, do what Jay did. Do what many of other analysts have done, where they decided, I'm tired of this. I want to see change. And it starts with your content. It starts with, if you're a fantasy football analyst, don't use the word owned. Don't use the word owned when owning, like when you have a player on it.
I'll admit I've made that mistake, and I think about it. I'm like, oh damn, I've had to delete, because I mean,
you know what?
I think about it and everything going on. I'm like, oh, that's so
we came up with a great alternative. Is just rostered. You know what I mean? Like, he's rostered in 70% of leagues, or I rostered him in a couple of my leagues. Like, if also too, because I mean,
that's great.
And we covered this last week to a degree on Rumboyz After Dark, and a lot of athletes, they don't have a problem with it, but at the same time, like, living in PC America too, where like, because there is people on this side of the line, but then they're also trying to attack everyone like you ain't on this side of the line. You know what I mean? Like, we're living in cancel culture. We're living in, where it's like your purest intentions can be, put into question. Mm-hmm. And it's like, just going back to some of the uglies of America, like slavery, where they use the term own when they talked about these slaves, like, and if you really want to, me, I smoke a lot of weed. I'm actually high right now. I was just pondering this, like, sports is like slavery in that sense, where there's an owner of a team, and he has these gladiators, and this is not even just black slavery. We're going back to the Roman days, where they made their slaves fight in battle for entertainment. You know what I mean? And like, And like, that's just kind of the new version of this. Only instead of being thrown back into cages, these players are heralded as heroes because they get paid a lot of money and they're famous. But even them are regular people that when issues arise like this, that they will like stand up to the owners, because it ain't like the days of before where you stand up against the owners, you get beat or whipped or whatever it is.
Right.
They stood up and they put a pause on their money. They're like, listen, man, y'all ain't getting no money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because we're gonna use our platform. And shout out to LeBron and everybody, man, because they literally just did that for the NBA.
Yeah. Hey, we canceled. I canceled I canceled my show. I believe, what was it, Tuesday or Wednesday night? Wednesday night, I canceled my show in protest with the NBA. I was like,
hey, bro, even when the George Floyd thing hit, man, you canceled everything to focus on, the rallies, the protests, and getting the legislation in your city, like, you know what I mean? And you would constantly apologize to us. Hey, man, I'm sorry that, I'm like, no. That's way more important. You know what I mean? And then when we came back, it was also imperative that we use this platform, as big or small as it may be, we got to use this to speak, because, I mean, how are we going to sleep at night? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I kind of touched on it earlier, my godfather, he was an African-American, and I was my dad's best friend growing up. And unfortunately, he was murdered, when I was a child, like in 1993, I was probably like 9 years old. You know what I'm saying? And his son grew up gang banging, so he got murdered off his son's beef, some street shit. My godfather, my ninong is what we would call it. So my ninong Joe. And he was my dad's best friend when he first came to America. And he came from Alabama. So as a kid, he would tell me, when I was a kid, he would tell me, they came out west because they wanted to get as far. They heard there's this place out there where they're not, this racism shit. It's not.
It don't exist.
Yeah, obviously it wasn't dead, but it wasn't like it was in the South.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. The South was like, yo, you know what I mean? Like, and like, he would always tell me, and I'm not gonna say it exactly how he said it verbatim, but he would be like, you ain't white, so them crackers, they're gonna call you an N-word. They're gonna treat you like an N-word. You know what I mean? And he would say, he would grab me by the neck and he'd be like, but we ain't no N-words. You know what I mean? Like, and obviously what he was saying, but, and like, it always resonated with me, because here's somebody who came to the West to get away from, straight up slavery, like racism shit in the South. You know what I mean? That mentality of inequality, that shit.
Back then there still were secret cities. And a secret city, for those you don't know, is a city that no matter how progressive the rest of America becomes.
Yeah, they still have slaves. And they
still have slaves. They still have rules where, like, if you're black, you can't be out in that city past 7.
Yeah.
Look it up. There's still some of them here in 2020.
And what's crazy, too, is my pops, he kind of hit a ceiling in the islands. So that's why he came to America, like, for opportunity. You know what I mean? And then, like, just being a minority, like, in the city of San Francisco. And when he came to San Francisco, it was, this was like the height of the riots, and the Zodiac killer was on the loose. The 49ers weren't even a thing yet. Matter of fact, when the 49ers started winning in '82, that's when the city kind of came together for real. You know what I mean? But like, so here's my pops. He comes from like a cool life too in the Philippines, but you just heard there was better education, job opportunities. Matter of fact, Silicon Valley.
Promised land.
Silicon Valley, bro. It was already, we're talking about in the late 70s, by word of mouth, he was told to go up to Northern Cali because they got this thing called the Silicon Valley out there where you'd be able to get a job and and be involved in early technology, whatever. But that blows my mind in itself. And then to come out here and be like, damn, what this opportunity shit they were talking about was jawsing, because, you know what I mean? They was just fronting because like the opportunities weren't for people that weren't white. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then just being out there in the city, you know what I mean? Obviously it's a mashup of all different cultures and shit. And like, they would, people always told them, there's this young, thriving city called San Jose. So like, when I grew up out here, before it started becoming like a metropolitan area, it was vineyards. There's little hoods, and then there was vineyards.
That's San Jose, I remember.
Like, and it was just crazy because I've been here my whole life. I've moved all around my city, but like to watch it turn into what it turned into, because obviously when you get a bunch of people coming from everywhere of all different nationalities, it's not going to be peachy keen. And then now it's like you start enacting more police presence, because you got, they're already labeling this whole city as a problem that needs to be dealt with, because it's got all the Mexicans here, all the Asians, all the blacks. Like, you know what I mean? It's a racist dream come true to come through.
I noticed police forces increase and grow back home in Virginia when our Hispanic culture and our Hispanic population started to grow. That's when they're like, we have to start policing more, and they start like hiring and shit. I'm like, what the hell do y'all need to police? It's the same shit every single day. Like, is it changing? I mean, that's the society that we live in. I mean, I like that Bogard brought that up, because working with the Black Play-by-Play Foundation, which is a new nonprofit that I work with, the Black Play-by-Play Foundation, where we're trying to establish scholarships and grants for young African American children in inner cities, to be able to give them opportunities to be able to take their sports careers to the next level as commentators, as analysts, as insiders, so on and so forth. And this concept actually started. Shout out to the minor league baseball. Shout out to minor league baseball. This concept started because of the minors, from a white guy who does play-by-play for the Yankees minor team. Shout out Adam Giordano. But he stepped up. Yeah, he stepped up. He had reached out. He was like, dude, he's like, I love what you've done as an entrepreneur, as like a Black entrepreneur. I was like, honestly, I just knew I was going to make it by being the edgy, drunk guy in the industry. Like, that was my whole gimmick when I first came in this shit. Like, to be honest.
Hey, real talk, plug. When he reached out to me back in, like, I want to say like late January-ish, right? And he was like, I think my audience will connect with you, because I was thinking the same thing too. I'm going to be the guy drinking and smoking like I do. Just
having a good time
talking the game. And bro, like, the rest is history. But like, what also is beautiful, I'll make this one fast, Robbie, I didn't mean to cut you up. But like, they should always look at the Rumboyz. They should always look at the fantasy football plug. They should always look at the clock management, the Heart to Starts, the Komplicated Kyries of the world. Like, we are a perfect example, because our community in this industry is very diverse. And like, the only thing that separates us is our takes in fantasy. You know what I mean? Like, it's such an organic experience that, like, and we're from all different places, bro, all over the United States. And it's like, yo, isn't that not what America was, what we were sold on, or how America is supposed to be? So we are a perfect example of this. You know what I mean?
Man, yeah. Well put, man.
Exactly.
Put.
I'm telling you, man, that's that organic shit from, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, I might have smoked a little isms that make me expand the mind. But it's also I'm only going to be able to ever speak on my own experiences. And that's exactly what I'm experiencing when I work with.
Anybody can do.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate that, Bogard. Very kind words. Thank you. I started working with the Black Play-by-Play Fund, just to, change up even our industry. There's multiple different ways that all of us out there are able to make differences. If you look around and you see something wrong, like I said, Adam, he looked around in the minors. They were at a big conference where all the play-by-play people, got together, and he was looking around the room. They all suited up, having champagne and shit, and he's like, there's only 3 Black people up in this motherfucker. I need to do something about this. Like, when you look around, and you got to think about it from his standpoint. Like, every major league team, there's 30 major league teams. Every major league team has like 1 or 2 farm teams, right?
Yeah.
So that's about like double the amount of like major league.
Man, I grew up going to San Jose Giants games because in my city we're the farm for the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah, so, See, we got the Colorado vibes here, you know. So I mean,
okay.
Excuse me. I had a little beer burp there for a second.
Well, good. It happens, man. It happens.
But I mean, you know, for someone of a different and I want to point this out. The proper term is ally. For an ally, what an ally means is a person that is not a POC, person of color, and they can see that there's a problem, and they want to try and help, and they want to fix it, and they do so by being an ally. Usually, most allies, they don't really know what they can do, how to help, but they just want to help, and they're like, they usually reach out and ask me, how can I help? Because I just want to. For him to be an ally and see that there's an issue for Jay to sit back, you know, like, I want to interview you guys. I want to have you guys come on and talk, you know, just as minorities, and really just help my audience, to help my people better understand what you're going through and how you're feeling. That really goes a long way. So to anyone that is listening and they're probably wondering, like, damn, like, they've talked, you know, this whole time and haven't expressed how we can help or how we can make a difference. First, start by having conversations with, you know, your close minority friends, your close POC friends. It starts there. If you're a podcaster and you're listening to this, you know, feel free to reach out to any of us, you know, for a feature. Feel free to reach out to other minority broadcasters and podcasters for features. Donate to causes, you know. Fucking put a sign in your yard, you know. Like, I don't care what you do.
And even simple as like, if you got a neighbor that you've never spoke to and they're colored, yo, you know, say hello, talk to them. You know what I mean? Like, don't, because
take them a beer.
You might have never talked to them. You know what I'm saying? They might think you're a racist for real. You know what I mean? Like, listen, if my white neighbors don't talk to me, and I do got a neighbor who's black, and me and him he's like the only one, we be burning up. We just chop it up all day. And ain't nobody talk to us. And we're kind of cool with that. But at the same time, we're already immediately labeling them as racist. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, hey, they might be cool. We don't know. You know, open the dialogue up. You know what I mean? Like, because honestly, you'll come to find out that the next man is just doing the same thing that you are, just trying to live. You know, I'm trying to make a living. You know what I mean? Like, you might, like, you'll be surprised, people being naive or ignorant or unknowing, whichever category you fall under. That's really lazy. You know, you got to put in effort for this type of shit. You know what I mean? Like it, and you'll be pleasantly surprised how much you actually have in common. And when you find out how much you have in common, you will feel the empathy that you might have lacked before, because they aren't like us colored people, and more specifically African Americans, black people, bro. Like, none of us are any less than the next man. You know what I mean? We're all human beings, bro. And like,
for anyone that may be intimidated by a person's skin color, like if melanin scares you, I promise you, okay? Like, get to know me and my girlfriend. We are two of the nicest, kindest, most educated, well-spoken people on the face of the planet. You know, I promise you. You know, if you're worried that, oh well, like most white people don't have an education, no, actually talk to us. You know, Get into a goddamn a math challenge with your local weed dealer. I promise you, he's gonna be no more.
You got fractions down.
Math,
just pull out a Mad Minute and just be like, go. He's gonna be like, click, 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 click. It's like, I promise you guys,
all the way down to the decimals.
like, for real. Like I promise you, like if melanin scares you, or like if it worries you, or whatever the case, like try your best, like get over it, like get to know you know, a person of color. Don't get to know it just to be like, oh, this is my new nice little neat fucking friend. Like, don't do that. Don't fetishize us. We don't like that. But, you know, get to know us. Like, I promise, like we're the same as everyone else. Like,
and And going back to what
you never know. Like look at me and Jay. Like we play football. We both like football. Like we both like talking football.
And we're like it goes back to, and you know, I hate it when people try to say unity is cliche, because one thing I'm sitting here, and this is some shit too, right? Where I'm kind of mind blown thinking about this, where I was like, wow, unity starts with you and I.
Yeah, like, I say that all the time. Yeah,
that's a thing already, because I was like, whoa. Because it goes back to what we were saying, like, hey man, sometimes if you just open the dialogue, you know what I mean? Because hey man, I might see the beady-eyed white dude always side-eyeing me when I'm taking out my garbage, and I don't say what's up. Maybe I should. Oh, hey man, what's good, man? If I don't get any acknowledgement, maybe my radar was right, or maybe my radar was incorrect. Maybe you go, hey man, how you doing? Hey, I see you wearing a Niner hat. Hey, I'm a Niner fan too. Or maybe, hey, I'm a Rams fan. And then we get to joking with each other every time we see you. Hey man, fuck the Niners. Hey, fuck the Rams. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you never know.
Yeah, sports is a great dialogue, man.
Because, and see, that's the thing too, is people are so afraid of the unknown. That's why they're so reactionary. You know what I mean? Because it's their fucking imagination or the horror stories they've heard, or even like on the flip side of that, you know what I'm saying? Like, we might be extra defensive because of historically how we was treated. You know what I'm saying? And like, and I say we too, because it's not just for minorities, bro. Like, I grew up in the Black community, basically.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. When I see freaking good old Ted walking through Walmart with his Glock on his hip,
you ain't saying nothing to him.
Hey, I get worried. I'm like, oh shit, babe, I gotta walk back to the car in case the motherfucker get to shooting. Like, she's like, why you gotta go back? I gotta go get my Glock now. Shit. I ain't gonna play. I am that person where like yo, white people with guns scares the shit out of me, because it ain't black people that shoot up schools. It ain't black people that shoot up Walmarts. We don't shoot up churches. We don't shoot up movie theaters. It ain't us. So y'all motherfuckers, I get this shit. Hey, I'm gonna say this with the most joking, most humorous way possible. I get that y'all are pro 2A and y'all love y'all shit. But damn it, look, I don't know if it's the 400 years of oppression. You see, having flashbacks from my ancestors, so like Master walking on the porch, like, y'all better get goddamn picking that cotton right now. I don't know what it is, or maybe it's just a factor of like, y'all really just do be carrying guns and shooting shit up and end up on the news somehow. But I get worried. I get worried when I hear y'all arguing. When I hear domestic violence in white homes, oh shit. I'm like, babe, put the blinds down, close and lock the doors.
I'm a 6'6", 265-pound white male, and that shit makes me nervous as fuck when I see somebody come in with a fucking gun on their hip. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, because they're really gonna size you up. Like,
they're looking for. Oh my god, yeah, man, I can't do anything, bro. I can't go anywhere without getting like, you know, like everybody. That's why I don't go to bars or anything anymore, man. They always want to get there.
Oh, bro, you know people are looking at you. You know people are looking at you like, if he gets a shooting, are you gonna save me?
Hell no. I'm gonna save my wife.
If you get the shoot, I'm saving my wife and my kids. You're on your own, motherfucker.
Well, it scares the shit out of my wife though, man, because I'll run toward the noise. Like I know you're not talking about Robbie. Like I'll run toward it. Like she gets nervous.
Mm-hmm. My girl gets pissed, bro.
Yeah.
My girl gets pissed, man. My girl has hidden my gun before. She's like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, I'm going to check what the sound is in the house.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. Hey, I live in a cool, like, especially on basic comparison. Like, I live in a better area than I was at prior to this, right? And bro, living in the hood, and I had a house in the hood, and it's just me, my youngest daughter. She was a baby at the time, and bro, every little thing. You know what I'm saying? Every little thing, I'm grabbing a strap. I'm grabbing a shotty.
You know what's funny? I could be living in the hood and I'd be perfectly fine.
Every little thing, bro. And what's crazy too is like, you know, there was a lot of dope dealers in my neighborhood. Like, people would not like, yo, where's so-and-so? And I'd be like, that's next door, bro. Because they would like, you know, that's a thing in the hood. You make people park in front of somebody else's house. You know what I'm saying? And it would be like, damn, bro, like, You know, like and I had cameras, and I would just be like, I'd be up at night just watching the cameras and just, you know, just every little thing. And like in the hood, the cops ain't really pulling up as fast as you would want them to if you was a civilian. You know what I mean? And what's crazy?
My girl gets mad. When we go to when we're like you know, I'm with like my homies, like my friends and my family, like in like the quote unquote bad neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Like she gets pissed off. She's like, you really feel safer here. You feel at home. Like, hell yeah, like we out here. You know, but when I'm at like the neighborhood that I live in, like right now, like we got houses, like nice ass houses around my apartments and everything. And I'm gonna be honest, that shit scares me. Like I heard my neighbors arguing the other day.
You could be walking around, they're gonna act like you don't belong around there.
Bro, I went for a walk to 7-Eleven to go get me some wraps, bro. And I was so scared. I was like, man, please don't let Karen come out on her porch and be like, you're not in this neighborhood. You don't live here. I'm like, I live up the street.
Yeah, because really, that's the thing.
Hey, gentlemen.
Here's the message I want to send.
Hold up. Bogey, one second.
Oh, go ahead.
1 second, man. I'm sorry. Welcome, Kai.
Yeah.
What's up, Kai? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
What's up, partner?
Thanks
for joining real quick, man. I gotta get off here pretty soon, guys. I just wanted to wait and make sure we got Kai on here. We're gonna have another episode between him and I too. But what's up, man? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Just man, I'm on my phone.
Yeah.
So I can't see everybody, but I don't know how to do it on my phone. My power just got cut on, so yeah.
It did.
I've been chilling now, bro. Yeah, it's on. So I might go in the house and swap in a second.
I got you. I was actually supposed to be done by about 8:30, so I might have to bounce off. But if y'all want to keep going, please do. I'm sorry, man.
I would love to get one question in while you're here, bro. Whatever you guys were discussing.
Yeah.
What's up, Bogard?
What's happening,
and Rumboy?
Yeah, it's just me and Robbie. You know what I'm saying? And man, you know what was crazy is, man, you being from LA, man, I couldn't imagine that
you're from LA?
dealt with the police. You know what I mean?
Oh, bro, there was this time, man, I used to work at Wells Fargo in Culver City out here, and like this lady, I had told her that because she was doing a documentary on the cops and how they fuck with niggas, basically, right? Yeah. And I told her in 2008, I got pulled over 25 times that year for nothing, bro. Like, and I was 18 in 2008. Bro, 25 times, bro. I counted after like 3.
I went to go visit my grandma. My grandma, she stayed out there in Rosecrans, bro. And like we would always get fucked at. Like, we would always get fucked with like out there, bro. Like cops in LA are completely different beasts.
Oh, there you go. I can see you. What up? Fantasy Network. There you go, Rumboy. What's your name, bro?
Robbie.
All right, for sure.
Yeah, man. This is the homie Kyrie, Robbie, man. We got to get him on too.
I know.
These days. You know what I mean?
And I've been trying to do a little more in the fantasy, man. I've been going through some shit, man. So I'm trying to probably get more and helping the community with some edits and like just some insight, hopping on people's shows and whatnot. But about this subject though, real quick, man, like I just wanted to say, I'm gonna just be honest on this, bro. Life is making me like, and I'm a nice dude, bro, but I can't trust. It's hard for me to trust nowadays, man. And I'm talking about black people too, man. I'm not even gonna lie. And that's what this is creating, a level of divide. That's all it is just divide. If you think about it, what is the biggest gang, bro, is the cops.
Oh yeah.
The majority of them, you know, act a certain way towards a certain people. I figure like I hate to sound like this, but at least our gangs, we go after each other. I know that's terrible, but like we're not hunting other people.
There's some honor there.
We protect our communities though. We protect our communities at the same time though. Like I'm from like I'm originally from Southeast DC. I'm from a little neighborhood called Berry Farms. Cops ain't rolling up into our neighborhood all willy-nilly without us knowing what the fuck's going on. They want to come up in our projects. You get escorted by somebody with a red flag up them fucking stairs.
See, that's not LA, bro. That's
Yeah,
That
LA
sounds great.
shootout.
That sounds great, my guy. Trust me. But them motherfuckers will come up there and take them niggas. Like, and it's like, I seen some shit, bro. I remember this one time with, like, what is this a cop conversation? What was it? What was we really talking about with this, Jason? Like, just more of like,
whatever you feel. Yeah.
We're just opening the we're just having a conversation. You know what I mean? In general,
I want you guys to be able to express whatever you want. Open forum, basically, for whatever you guys feel like whatever you have in your heart and your brains, whatever you guys want to get out there.
I will say this though, you know, I did have some, because you know, he had divulged that information. I wasn't even aware that Jay was he was a cop for a year, and like I know what kind of person Jay is, and that so when he said, you know, he left because of the shit he was seeing, like I believe it. So like, you know, I mean, I had a couple of questions just for someone that was on that side of things, like just to, you know what I mean? Because it is fascinating to me, like, because all I have to go on is what we've seen being on the other side of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, yeah, but no, but go ahead, Kyrie. Go ahead, continue, man.
well, no, I mean, you was asking them. I mean,
No.
I'm
I
curious.
was just filling you in on kind of
Oh,
what
okay.
the show was about. Yeah. So
Got you. Yeah, man, just honestly, just overall, man, like it hurts my heart. At the same time, you know, I can't even, like, there'd be times, you know, like in relationships and if you're a good person, you try to look at like, what could I do different? Like, damn, all right, that person's doing this, but am I doing anything to kind of add fuel to the fire, right? And every time I try to do that, it leads me back to fuck that. Like, there's no excuse for what's going on, period. Like, I don't care what's going on. Like, people don't, like, you see the guy who literally went to Kenosha, I believe, Wisconsin, and shot a couple people, like, with a fucking AR and some gloves on.
And then they didn't even pop this man.
But they popped Tamir Rice, who's a child with a play gun, bro.
I mean, like,
what's worse?
And you're gonna tell me it isn't racist?
What's even
like
worse?
you're gonna tell me that? You're gonna tell me that that you see us the same, and you want me to believe it, huh?
Robbie had brought this up. Robbie made a good point earlier, Kyrie. He said, Robbie was like, you know, they might even look at us like animals, like, you know, and he was like, you know, in the black, you might look at the blacks like lions, and you know, if you see a lion in the wild, you probably terrified. So they
treat animals better, bro. Think about it. They'll tranquilize the animal before they fucking shoot it. They'll try to at least tranquilize a bear.
Like,
we don't even get that. We get the bullet.
The poachers, but yeah, I play with poachers, not humanitarians.
Yeah.
But no, I got one for you though, real quick, bro. So the same incident in the same week happened. Dylan Reelhouse happened the same week as a Portland shooter. A Portland shooter had struck a anti-protester with his weapon. They had engaged in fire. The news will not release the shooter's name, the shooter who returned fire, but they give us the name of Dylan Reelhouse, and they make him out to be this vigilante hero who was 17 years old, carrying an AR-15, crossed state lines with said AR-15 with his mother. Okay, his mother is the one who drove him.
Wow.
To be able to protect businesses in which they do not live near nor shop at.
God, man, this is the kind of shit that they conjure up after the fact.
To me, sounds like you went hunting.
Yeah, I was about to say, when really they was just like, let's go. Like, even the fact that they labeled them, or the media tried to say they were vigilantes. Fuck that.
Militants, vigilantes.
You know, this is something that I thought of too when I hear you say the word vigilante. I mean, it's the way that anything, if I think the change would start, which, I mean, people are just evil in general, man. I mean, especially whenever you give evil people that kind of power. Somebody come out and start taking out these cops who are doing all this shit one by one, like fucking Batman. You got everybody terrified.
Yeah, I like
that. To be honest, to be 1,000%, I have somebody I know, I'm not going to say who he is, that's an extremist when it comes to black folk. And his thought is something like what you just said, except a little more vicious.
Like, let's go
Um,
killing.
No,
like,
if it starts
he
happening,
was just saying if
it ain't
he was
me.
basically saying if we should be. I mean, I don't even want to say this, but it's not coming from me. But he was saying we should literally be, when they kill us, we go kill one of their own type shit. I don't think. I mean, obviously that will make movement, but that's not who we are as black people.
Right.
We're not really that
Y'all
way
are
anyway.
better than
We
that.
be reacting, bro.
I mean,
Right.
We're not evil like that. So
Right.
it's no better than them too. You know what I mean?
Right. That's
exactly.
true.
Well, I don't know about that though, Bogard, because
Yeah,
it's like what Tupac said. After a point,
Yeah.
it's like you got to break down the door.
Man, where's the food?
Exactly.
No,
Yeah.
I believe that it would take something like Tupac's 50 nigga theory, in the essence of 50 niggas in all 50 states, one in each state at the exact same time. It would have to be a planned out, thought out type of attack where, post up. You're sniping. As soon as they walk out for their changeover, you're taking them out. You know, you're right.
Ooh, that would be deep, man.
It would have to take something very extreme, Jay. But at the same time, that's not like Kyrie said. That's not who we are as black people. And at that time, at that moment,
martial law, this whole united.
Oh my God, it'd be over, bro.
Like, bro, like they react for less. And that's what's crazy. They react for less. And
if the white extremists did it, that would set America, because it'd be like, oh, now one of our own, he was mentally ill, and then it would start triggering, because it's not the oppressed that's reacting. You know, it's one of.
But also too,
Eminem made a song called White America. Eminem made a song.
What came first?
Called White America.
I'm telling you, it's the chicken or the egg. What came first? Like them polices, you know, doing what they do over the crooked police, I should say, because I don't want to, completely what's the word I'm looking for? Completely label all police bad.
But you got to think though, what was the police originally for, from the get go? If we can get to the root of the police, which I don't know exactly, but if I were to take an educated guess, it probably have to do with something in racism, like as far as slavery.
Watch
like they probably were hired to round us up type shit.
Corralling.
Because black people weren't even, like, we're not allowed to do shit back in the day. So, they're going to let us wear a badge and be a cop? Highly doubt it. So, like, it was probably on some, let's make a fucking, a government thing that we can use as a legal term and then still use to do our biddings. Like, they're still doing racist shit to this day. If it was equal as it is, bro, the prisons wouldn't have disproportionate levels of brown people in the cells, bro. I've went to jail off of tickets, bro. Like, and it's ridiculous. I'm talking like at least 5 days, and I know that's nothing to some, but when your freedom is taken, you realize a bunch of shit, and this shit's fucked up, bro.
I've been for a few days because of warrants, and it sucks. And I'm a white guy. I'm a large white male. It was horrible.
I spent the weekend in Santa Monica, bro, and even in Santa Monica, bro, like it was, and I was 18 years old, because we were just fucking around out there on a Friday night. You know what I mean? We got into some shit out there.
Don't fuck around.
Like, I was just, man, I'm telling you, like, because I mean, that's the reason I'm scot-free, for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, I came from the underworld, but I kind of, I got to grow and evolve, and like, also got to, I want that to be a message to everybody. You know what I'm saying? We're man, and as Kyrie would say, as long as your song is playing, as long as you're still alive, there's a chance to be able to change your ideology. If you are one of them peoples, and when I say them peoples, I mean them ignorant racist motherfuckers. And sometimes it might not even be people who are actually active racists, but they were raised by them, or they were, you know what I mean? There was something like, there's something off in them, and like they're just not opening up the dialogue, or they're not, they're not.
I got white family members ain't invited to my wedding, bro. I dig it. I dig it. I feel it.
Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm fortunate to grow up where I grew up, ultra diverse. My family is ultra diverse. Like, my first cousins are half black, half Portuguese, half white, half Italian, half you like how I said white and then Italian, because Italians, they kind of like brothers, you know what I'm saying? Like, anyways, You know what I'm saying? The Italians are like the minorities of the whites. I ain't gonna lie, like, you know what I'm saying? But you know, I'm just saying, like, I was fortunate to grow up like that, where like it wasn't until I got older and going around different places or getting active where like, and all the police were usually white and they just fucked with us, bro. Like, you know what I mean? They just, bro, it was like, that's why I couldn't even imagine the horrors. Like he said, 25 times getting pulled over in a year, 18 years old in LA. And that's 25 times a motherfucker thinking about, man, I might get shot for nothing right now. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I've been in the South. I've been through Florida. I've been through, through Atlanta. Like, I've been through Houston. We're like, bro, like, I'll be in the whip. And, I'm with brothers when I'm there. I'm not with Filipinos. You know what I mean? When I was in the South, I'm with my black brothers. And, like, I've got pulled over in every state. And that shit is crazy, bro, because they immediately is like, just don't move your hands, bro. You know what I mean? And, of course, they would think I'm Mexican. And they would be like, they would always be on me, too. Like, what's the one Mexican dude doing with all the black dudes? You know what I mean? And then I'm from Cali, and I'm like, I'm Filipino, and my last name is Spanish. And they would, like, you know what I mean? It didn't fucking matter. I wasn't white, and we're in the South. Right. You know what I mean? Like, it was just crazy, bro. Like, I couldn't imagine. Like, and that's why I'm fortunate to, to have, the open mind that I do from where I came from, growing up in a diverse place. Like, yeah, I mean, LA, it's black and brown, but at the same time, too, it's differences between the black and brown as well. And then they have to deal with the police simultaneously. And then there's even like, then even the police in LA, that is not white, and they're minorities, they're crazy too. You know what I mean? Like,
they hate us because they try to show off for the white cop.
You feel me? Like, it's, bro, like, I don't know, man. I think one thing, if there is one common denominator, you know what I'm saying, between everyone across the nation is that, like, everybody has witnessed some kind of injustice, you know what I mean? And it is cool that, like, when, we're using our platform to speak on something, because, look at right here, we got DC, we got Northern Cali, Southern Cali, we got Louisiana/Atlanta with the plug, you know what I mean? Like, it's, we're covering different sides of the spectrum, but we all see the same common denominator where, this injustice shit is just everywhere. That's the common.
Like I said.
Hey, let me in on this one, Jason.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, you can't be sitting back trying to cover fantasy football and not care about these players' lives that are affected.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, speak on. You know what I mean? As Kyrie would say, I mentioned this early too, Kyrie. When the first time you came on my show, you said, put your content on the line. You were like, the black fist emojis and all that shit, that's cool. But you were like, yo, put your content on the line. You know what I mean? Like, really speak on it.
Man, Kai just got on. Kai just got on. I was supposed to get off an hour ago, man. I wanted Kai to get on here. I've got a lot of stuff I've got to do in the house. Is there any way y'all can keep going? Can I keep this going and recording?
I think you got to pass it to somebody.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, as soon as you would have to pass the host on, and then it would start. They would continue recording. But
how do I do that?
But you know what though, we can keep this. I mean,
I wanted Kai on here so bad with us, and I know time got all messed up. It's just yeah,
that was my fault.
No, it's all good, man. I understand stuff happens.
No, man, life happens, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my wife had plans for us an hour ago, and she's been blowing me up like, I know it's important, but we got to go. I'm sorry.
No, you good, bro.
Because I know this is one of your only early days too, Plug. I appreciate you.
But how do I pass this on?
I think just leave the group, and then it's going to ask you.
Is that right? Okay.
I think.
Man. I'm going to invite everybody on my show tomorrow night.
Okay.
Yeah, join us on Rumboyz After Dark, y'all.
Holler at me. Let me know about what time, and I'll see. It depends on what time I get out of work, man. My hours. Kai can
usually start.
That, he works in the car business too.
We usually start 9 p.m. Eastern. So, and you can always just hop in during the duration. You feel me?
I will. I'll definitely make sure. I'll keep in touch with you tomorrow too. Kai, man, I appreciate you making it, buddy. I'm sorry I got to bail out.
No, you good, man.
Robbie, much appreciated you being on here. My man, Bogard, Kai, it's always a pleasure, gentlemen. Thank y'all so much for going through everything and allowing me to be a part of this conversation, guys. I want to make sure whenever we're done here, I'll make sure to put everything on YouTube. I'll put it on IGTV, everything, to make sure that everything's been heard. Robbie, whenever you can, what was the organization that you were talking about earlier?
719.
One more time?
The People 719.
Okay. I want to start getting that stuff out and start putting it up. And if there's any way that I can promote, like what you got going on, please let me know anything I can find, or just any information you have.
I got
sure. Thank you. Awesome. Gentlemen, it is always a pleasure. Y'all have a great rest of your evening. Again, thank y'all so much for being here.
Hey, thank you, Plug, man. Man, you're a beacon, man. I hope others see what you did by just opening and having a conversation. You know what I mean? And I hope they follow your lead. You know what I mean?
I appreciate that, man. I'm just trying to do.
Cause you're one of us, though, Plug. Let's be clear. You already know.
What's that?
That's why I fuck with you, Plug.
All right, man.
All right, man.
All right, man. Thank y'all so much again. Yeah, all I can do is just what I can do when I can do it, man. I mean, whether it's little or big, I mean, whatever. Just as long as somebody's doing something, no matter who it is, as long as it's something, doesn't make a difference if it's huge, small, just do something.
Yeah.
You never know who can see it. You never know who can hear it, or you never know who's around that something can just grab a hold. I mean, if you can take a certain belief system to where you understand that this is 100% wrong and needs to stop, if you can change one person, then you've done something. If I can reach one person, then I feel very happy with everything that I could possibly do. But gentlemen, thank y'all so much. Be good to each other. And Kyle, I'll holler at you tomorrow. Bogart, I'll holler at you tomorrow. Robbie, yep. I'll holler at you tomorrow. Make sure I get all that information. Gentlemen, y'all have a good evening, okay?
All right, man.
All right, guys. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you.